I invite you to read my article in Sol de México called Remittances, 1 million people at risk of falling into poverty. A few days ago, during an event at the Guadalajara International Book Fair, a young student approached me. He had traveled with his class to attend conferences. Dr. Juan, he told me, my dad hasn't been able to send what he used to send to us for now already 3 months. He studies, this young man, at a public university, and although he spoke calmly, the worry was clear in his eyes. He explained that his father works in California and that lately he's been getting fewer hours, partly out of fear of possible raids and partly due to changes in temporary work contracts. He used to send around $350 a month, he said. With that, my mom paid the rent and I bought my books, but now he barely has enough to get by himself. He paused, then added, if this continues, I may have to leave school for a semester. My family is trying to figure out what to do, Dr. Juan. The story of this young man, just one among more than 1 million people now at risk of falling into poverty because remittances are declining. This puts a human face on an alarming trend. Mexico has not seen such a prolonged period of falling remittances since the years following the 2008-2009 financial crisis, when massive job losses hit Mexican workers in the United States. The latest data from Mexico's central bank shows that in October of this year, remittances totaled $5.64 billion, a yearly drop of 1.7%. It was the 7th consecutive month of decline. If we look at January through October, the trend is even clearer, a cumulative decrease of 5.1% compared to last year. Yet while total remittances are falling, by the way, the average amount sent per transfer has actually increased from $396 to $403. This means that immigrants are making extraordinary efforts, sending money less frequently, but in larger amounts, perhaps trying to compensate for weeks without work or for moments of legal uncertainty. More than 1.1 million people in Mexico, listen to this, depend on remittances to avoid falling into poverty. And although more than 4 million households, that's around 12,000 million people, receive remittances in Mexico, it is this group, the 1.1 million, that faces most immediate risk. This is the hard reality behind the numbers. The recent decline is not just an economic adjustment. It is a direct threat to those with the least and to the communities that have supported Mexico from abroad for decades. States historically most dependent on remittances like Chiapas, Guerrero, Michoacán, Zacatecas, Oaxaca are already feeling the impact. And then states like Guanajuato must now be added to that list, not only because of the sheer number of immigrants who leave the state each year, but because thousands of families depend on that income to literally survive. During my years advising CUNA, the Credit Union National Association in the United States, I learned something that stayed with me forever. Mexican immigrants are among the most consistent savers, even while sending remittances with an admirable regularity. This double responsibility, saving there while supporting family here in Mexico, makes them a silent economic pillar. And when their work stability wavers, the impact multiplies on both sides of the border. What can Mexico do in this moment? First, Mexico must recognize that remittances are not a government program. They are the result of the hard work of millions of people who live far from home. Mexico should recover policies that strengthen the impact of those resources. One of the best models we ever had was the 3-to-1, 3 por 1 program. During the administration of President Vicente Fox, every dollar contributed by migrants was multiplied. $1 from the immigrant, one from the municipality, one from the state, and one from the federal government. $4 transformed into public works, clinics, roads, water systems, community centers, and local development projects. The cancellation of this program under the López Obrador administration broke a virtuous bridge between the diaspora and their hometowns. And so far, the current administration under Claudia Sheinbaum has not reinstated a similar program. Today, with remittances falling, bringing back and modernizing this type of program would be essential, not just to survive, but to build development. And what about the United States? Well, there is a proposal right now, in these days, known as the Dignity Bill, and it's being analyzed by many legislators. It seeks to offer a pathway to regularization for workers who already contribute to the U.S. economy, to provide job stability and to reduce the vulnerability of essential workers. It does not replicate the bipartisan proposal of McCain and Kennedy, but it does revive their spirit, acknowledging that the U.S. economy depends on labor stability and that human dignity must be at the center of any modern immigration reform. This is not about just increasing remittances. It is about dignifying the people who generate them. A worker with legal stability can plan, can save, can invest, and send money home safely and consistently. That benefits Mexico, of course, but it also benefits the United States of America. The decline in remittances is not just a statistic. It's the story of that student at the book fair, of his father working with fear in California, and of more than 1 million people whose stability depends on a transfer that may or may not arrive. If Mexico and the United States act with vision, one rebuilding programs that multiply impact and the other offering labor and human stability, this difficult moment could become a historic opportunity, because behind every dollar cent, there is a person who struggles, a family that perseveres, and a country that cannot afford to ignore this reality. Thank you.